I'm Alan Bresnik from Light Reading. We're here at our Future of Cable Business Services event. I'm speaking to Satya Parimi from Spectrum Enterprise. Hi, Parimi, how are you doing?
Well, how are you?
Right. So, Charter, the new Spectrum Enterprise, has made a major inroads in the cable business services space. You're just behind Comcast now in terms of business service revenue. Can you talk about what you've been doing?
That's correct. So the Spectrum Enterprise brand was launched earlier this year from the combination of the three legacy companies, Charter, Time Warner Cable, and Bright House Networks.
Right.
And when we came up with the new brand, Spectrum Enterprise, we focused primarily on larger businesses that we're going to deliver and serve with fiber products. And the strategy we put in place earlier this year to really drive fiber out deeper into our network and target customers with fiber-based services has been very fruitful because we've seen some really good uptake in our fiber services today, because we are getting fiber to a lot of buildings and places that never had the opportunity to buy fiber-based products. So we're seeing a big jump in connects. We're seeing a big jump in customer interest in our fiber-based products. So we're making inroads. We're taking share in the mid-market and the larger enterprise space as well.
How big is the total market opportunity for you with the new footprint?
Based on how you define it, if you look at primarily businesses that are 20, 25 employees and above, within our footprint, we believe that's roughly $18 to $20 billion in opportunity for voice, video, data, and some managed network services overall.
Okay. So let's talk about some of the new products that you're introducing.
Yep.
I know you talked earlier about your new SD-WAN product. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
SD-WAN's the hot topic now, right? So
yeah.
Everybody's talking about it. Everybody has a different take on it.
Right.
From a Spectrum Enterprise perspective, we're looking at SD-WAN primarily as one service offering we can deliver over new technology platforms around SD-WAN, SDN, sorry. So the platform we're looking at is a software-defined networking platform from which we plan to deliver services like SD-WAN, and in the future, other virtualized managed services like firewall, UTM, content filtering, WAN acceleration. So when we looked at SD-WAN itself as a service, most of the service providers have been looking at SD-WAN as a potentially over-the-top WAN service delivered over software over any access. That's a capability we're going to provide, and we are providing right now. But in addition to that, because of our strength in the Ethernet business, we're adding something different, extra to our offering, which is the ability to stitch in layer 2 connections into an SD-WAN network, which helps us to really expand the Ethernet networks that our customers have very quickly. So a very common use case is a large Ethernet customer wants to get to a few sites, let's say they're out of footprint or hard to reach using fiber today. We can use SD-WAN and a public internet connection and stitch those sites back into the network so that we can rapidly have the customers expand their network. So that's something that is unique and different we're offering, and we think that's of value because of our strength in the Ethernet space, the large customer base, large and growing customer base we have. So it's to be seen how the SD-WAN market plays out, and how fast people will adopt the service, both from an enterprise perspective and the service provider perspective. But we believe by having these both use cases, the pure overlay SD-WAN, which most everybody is offering, but then also adding this special use case, we believe that we have the opportunity to drive quicker adoption of SD-WAN, at least from our current Ethernet customer base.
So it's a hybrid SD-WAN product?
That's correct. So we haven't formally named it. You could call it a hybrid SD-WAN solution.
Right.
The other way to look at it is to say it's a hybrid solution that allows you to migrate from legacy technologies to new technologies at your own pace.
Right.
So you could have an Ethernet underlay, you could have an internet underlay, you could have SD-WAN, you could have a mix of layer 2 sites, layer 3 sites.
Right.
What we're providing is that choice and flexibility for the customer so that they can decide at what pace they want to migrate and mix and match and use these technologies. Because as you're aware, the WAN space is very fragmented and a really large space, and it's very hard to know what is going to trigger customers to make the move from one technology to the other.
Right. So what are the deployment plans for this product?
So we're currently in market trials right now. We're talking to a lot of existing customers. We're looking to do a commercial launch next year, We're primarily focused on looking at various use cases that we're going to target initially.
Right.
As I mentioned, we can do the layer 2 stitching, which is something unique that we offer. We can do the overlay SD-WAN, but then we're also looking at use cases around single access, multiple access, bandwidth, control and management across these access,
right.
Different overlay underlays, primarily because we're trying to understand what use cases will get us the biggest bang for the buck from an adoption perspective. Because as you have seen, some other providers are already on version 2 of their SD-WAN solution.
Right.
So the space is changing fast and there's a lot of innovation. So we want to focus on use cases that we think we can commercialize and get to revenue quickly. And others that are, if there are other use cases that are evolving, we think we can wait on those till we get the next generation changes in technologies or platforms that'll help us better address those down the road.
Okay, so how big an opportunity do you see?
So it's a great question. So SD-WAN as an opportunity, I don't think adds to the WAN market. So if you look at the overall WAN market from our perspective, nationwide we think it's roughly 20 billion. 10 to 11 billion is MPLS.
Right.
Probably 3.5 billion is private line, legacy, point-to-point, TDMs,
right.
ATM frame, and roughly around 6.5 is Ethernet. What SD-WAN allows us to do, I think, is it could potentially replace what MPLS opportunity is with that. It will probably eat into a little bit of Ethernet and private line as well. But SD-WAN ends up becoming, for someone like Spectrum Enterprise, another product in our toolbox to go after the MPLS market. Right. So there will be some growth that SD-WAN would add, but right. The WAN market overall, I think, is not going to grow. It's going to be substitution of one technology for the other.
Right.
Because unless more new businesses are coming in and there's a need for more WAN,
right.
With the predominance of internet and a lot more things being done on the internet, I think the WAN market is going to be about swapping share between technologies.
Parimi, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Appreciate it.